We are joined by Michael Schwartz, who was there for this tragic event. Michael, first I have to ask, are you and your family okay?
Yes, we're fine. Thank you.
What did you see?
First of all, I was there with my wife, who's in a wheelchair, and my 2-month-old grandson, who was in a baby buggy, and his grandmother. And we were all on an elevated spot about 10 feet, about 15 feet from the restaurant, the pancake restaurant on the corner. And we could see directly where the shooter was. However, in the first round of shooting, I looked everywhere and couldn't find where the shooting was coming from. The second round of shooting, I saw the shooter kneeling across the street on the corner of 2nd and Central, shooting at us.
And he's on a rooftop at this particular point?
No, he was on the street for the second round.
Wow.
I called in you actually because I thought the reports were erroneous. However, I guess he was on the roof in the first round of shooting, and he must have climbed down because I saw him quite clearly. I saw his gun. I saw him kneeling in a standard position, the kind of thing you see on TV with people with these rifles firing. And
you saw him strike innocent people.
One of the things I didn't tell your reporter when he interviewed me earlier that I thought of last night, the only people that I saw shot were shot in the back. I think perhaps this is psychologically significant. I don't know that he shot anybody that was looking at him.
Do you recognize him from those pictures that are released by police?
When I saw him, he was crouched about 2 feet off the ground behind a lamppost that had and a stop sign. And I believe he was looking through a scope at me, and he was covered in dark clothing, and I couldn't see anything. I believe I saw him get up and flee down 2nd Street North when I knew we were out of danger then at that point. And I believe I could recognize his gait from anywhere.
What goes through your mind? I mean, you're a daddy, you're a grandpa, you're a husband. I would think that you're in protective Papa Bear mode at this moment. How are you processing what happened as you're watching it unfold?
It was total disbelief. The original pop, 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 I thought there's no weapon that could possibly sound like that. That has to be a string of firecrackers. And then I saw people falling, and I knew that it was a gun,
And how are you processing those emotions today?
We're fine with it. I'm sorry that we saw what we had to see. In order to get my wife and the baby buggy out of there, we had to go down a ramp that took us right next to this woman who had been killed. I think it might have been the woman in the picture. She was obviously dead. She was no more than 6 feet from us. My wife had a spatter of blood on her shirt. Oh. And I was pinged by some debris, but it didn't break my skin. But we had to go around her in order to get down quite close, and that was rather traumatic, I think, for my wife and my baby's grandmother.
And what would you like to see happen to make this community feel safer again after something like this?
Well, I hate to say I'm glad that the fellow that they found, this was obviously a one-time thing, and he's quite obviously unhinged. Everybody in the community knows this family, I think, in one way or another. I've got 3 sons that live in Highland Park and 7 grandchildren. And everybody was aware of the family. The father was a prominent businessman who had some troubles that weren't really of his own making. And of course, he ran for mayor. So everybody knows the family, and the kids all one way or another knew the kid, who was a loner from the time he was in grammar school, I'm afraid.
Something that we may need to address as a community, as a society, as families.
I will say the way apparently that they found him was through Facebook, and those Facebook posts were so outrageous. I can't believe that this couldn't have been prevented by doing something about them when they were posted.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about missed warnings. Michael, thank you very much for sharing your story, and our best to you and your family during this difficult time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.